Chapter 8. Then spake Elisha unto the woman whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, and go thou and thine household, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn. For the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land 7 years. And the woman arose, and did after the saying of the man of God, and she went with her household, and sojourned in the land of the Philistines 7 years. And it came to pass at the 7 years' end, that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. And the king talked with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray thee, all the great things that Elisha hath done. And it came to pass, as he was telling the king how he had restored a dead body to life, that behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life cried to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, My lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elijah restored to life. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field, since the day she left the land, even until now. And Elisha came to Damascus, and Benhadad the king of Syria was sick, and it was told him, saying, The man of God is come hither. And the king said to Hazael, Take a present in thine hand, and go meet the man of God, and enquire of the Lord by him, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? So Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels' burden, and came and stood before him, and said, Thy son Benhadad king of Syria has sent me to thee, saying, Shall I recover of this disease? And Elisha said unto him, Go say unto him, Thou mayest certainly recover, howbeit the Lord has showed me that he shall surely die. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. And Hazael said, Why weepest, my lord? And he said, Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds wilt thou set on fire, and their young men wilt thou slay with the sword, and wilt dash their children, and rip up their women with child. And Hazael said, But what, is thy servant a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elisha answered, The Lord has shewed me that thou shalt be king over Syria. So he departed from Elisha, and came to his master, who said to him, What said Elisha to thee? And he answered, He told me that thou shouldst surely recover. And it came to pass on the morrow that he took a thick cloth, and dipped it in water, and spread it on his face, so that he died, and Hazael reigned in his stead. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat being then king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and as did the house of Ahab, for the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet the Lord would not destroy Judah for David his servant's sake, as he promised to give him always a light and to his children. In his days Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah, and made a king over themselves. So Joram went over to Zair, and all the chariots with him, and he rose by night, and smote the Edomites which compassed him about, and the captains of the chariots, and the people fled into their tents. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time. And the rest of the acts of Joram, and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Joram slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Ahaziah his son reigned in his stead. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. 22 years old was Ahaziah, when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel. And he walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to the war against Hazael, king of Syria, in Ramoth-Gilead, and the Syrians wounded Joram. King Joram went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah. when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria. And Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. Some of these chapters, it can be really hard to keep track of who's king of where and when and all the rest of this stuff, because the details get to be very, very confusing. And of course, the people who are writing this, they know, but there aren't really, and the people who are translating it, they can figure it out. But if you don't have the background in it, it can sometimes be challenging. So under the country that is north of the 10 tribes is called Syria, and the king of Syria is Ben-Hadad. And then we have the northern 10 tribes, and then we have the area that is the southern 2 tribes, which is Judah and Benjamin. And from north to south, we're looking at less than a couple hundred miles in all probability. And so there's a lot happening in a very small geographical area. Anyway, according to this chapter, what happens is Elisha shows up in Damascus. And Ben-Hadad is ecstatic. Not because he likes Elisha necessarily, but because he knows about Elisha, because Elijah healed Naaman, who was the captain, presiding general of the Syrian army, of leprosy. And so they would know that the prophets of Israel were powerful guys. And Ben-Hadad is sick. And he sends word with Hazael, his trusted servant, to find out how things are going to go for Ben-Hadad while he's sick. And Ben-Hadad sends 40 camel loads of stuff. Now the camels can carry a lot. But even if all they had on there was 125 to 150 pounds, we're looking at 5,000 to 6,000 pounds of stuff that Ben-Hadad sent to Elisha. A lot of stuff. And wouldn't have been cheap stuff either. Wouldn't have been Tupperware, I can tell you that. And so Hazael asks the question. He wants to know if he's going to recover. And Elisha says, yeah, well, you can tell him he's recovered, but I know he's going to die. And then Elisha starts to cry. And when Hazael asks him why he's crying, he said, because I know that you're going to be king of Israel, of Syria, and that you're going to kill, children and women who are carrying children, and kill young men and cause all kinds of grief and everything. And he protests that he wouldn't do that. And then he goes home to see his master, Ben-Hadad. Ben-Hadad asks him what happened, and he told him, you will surely recover. And the next day he takes thick cloth, gets water on it, which makes it waterproof and breathing proof, and smothers Ben-Hadad and rules in his stead. He rules for a brutal 42 years. Then we learn about Jehoram, who is king of Judah, who marries Athaliah, who is the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel, and just as corrupt as her mother. And she brings horrors of the worship of Baal and Ashtoreth down to southern Judah, to southern Israel and part of Judah. God does not destroy him, but only because of the promises that he made to David, that there would always be a light, a descendant of David on the throne until the Savior came. One point here you might miss, but on the other hand you might not. It says Athaliah, who was the wife of Jehoram, was the daughter of Omri. Now Omri was actually her grandfather, not her father. She was actually the daughter of Jezebel and Ahab. But in a lot of times, as the writers would use it, they would just indicate that one of the people of the family that she was related to. And that's what this is basically. And it also sometimes it's used to say that you're as morally corrupt as some other very famous person was, or whom you followed. That's what it is here too.